What's up, y'all? I'm gonna do another one here real quick. A lot of interesting things have been happening over the past, the entire year for the most part, but here's some good shit that's going on. They've managed to free a large amount of kids now. Multiple states. Great job for the U.S. Marshals. Keep up the fucking good work. You know, this is a problem that me and my co-host on my other channel, Metal Truthers, we were talking about sex trafficking back in the fucking day. 5 years ago we were bringing this shit up. I talked about it being in the foster care system through child protective services and just how dangerous that system really was for me and, you know, just what I had to go through. Like, there was a lot of horrible shit, and you can't tell me that the CPS system wasn't complacent in putting me in horrible fucking environments constantly. I mean, it's more than just a coincidence when 4 out of 5 homes had child molesters in them. Just saying. You know, that's a big issue. And for years now, everybody said I was fucking insane. I'm a conspiracy theorist. I'm a nut job. I'm a right-wing lunatic. And you know, this, that, and the other. Motherfuckers, I'm not right-wing. I'm not left-wing. If anything, I'm somewhere violently in the center because, like, I believe drugs should be decriminalized all around so that we don't have junkies. We need to have programs to where people can get the amount of... I mean, if you're addicted, do you know how hard it is to get off of some of these drugs? My personal belief is a lot of these people should be given a regulated amount that they can have a day. Not enough to overdose, but enough to keep them high if it allows them to function and not be violent, allow them to not overdose in the middle of the streets, allow them to maybe be able to function somehow. There needs to be rehabilitation. I believe the prison system is fucked off. I believe that we've created a generation of people that go in, that's all they know, and then they come out and they bring that segregated prison mentality to the streets, which is why you're seeing a lot of what you see today. A lot of these people are coming out of prisons. That's why it's tribal conflict. We're always going to have it. Believe me. It ain't going nowhere. We've been that way since the beginning of time. I mean, think about it. For us to be here, we had to eliminate the Neanderthals. We had to eliminate another form of humans that was around because they were bigger and stronger than us. It's been documented. It's proven. Go look it up. I don't have time to get into that because that's not what this is about. What I'm getting at is we're seeing something going on right now. The country's in flames. Everyone blames this president, even though this shit's been going on for years. This ain't new to Trump. This ain't new to Obama. This ain't new to Kennedy, any of these motherfuckers. Like, it's all part of the same long game. We've been playing it for over 200 years now, okay? Like, the reality, the simple reality of it all is something is happening, and all the media is covering on is race this, race that, Trump's evil this, Trump's evil that, and nobody's talking about the sex trafficking. Nobody wants to talk about these high-level pro celebrities that are being caught out. And Mark Zuckerberg, this piece of shit, wants to block anything that has to do with the whole stop child trafficking movement, save the children movement. He's trying to ban these things. Well, it makes me think that maybe this may be that weird fucking... I guess we'll say he's human. I mean, I'm still lacking on evidence for that, but, you know, maybe this guy's part of it. Maybe he enjoys the sex trafficking. Maybe he gets a cut of some money from it or something. Because why, in God's name, would you block so many fucking posts about this shit if you weren't in support of it? No answers from anybody on that one. You know what I mean? Ain't nobody got nothing to say. I'm irritated at my country right now. I'm irritated at the world right now. There's people fucking rioting over in Europe over the shit that's happening here with Black Lives. Like, can we really talk about the issues in our communities? Like, y'all forget. Well, those of y'all that have been watching me since Metal Truthers, those of y'all that are on my friends list that have known me for years. Wait, Bruce. Not right now. Go get Luna to do it. Go. Okay, go. Go to Luna. Later, Bruce, stop. Stop. Go. Okay. Anyway, sorry about that. Back to this. Reality is that, we've been talking about this shit for fucking years, and people ignored us. People called us racist. People called us sexist. People called us homophobic and all this other bullshit. And the reality is, y'all are on a platform that seems to be run by somebody who's fully in favor of sex trafficking, apparently. There's something weird about this motherfucker. There always has been. And we don't talk about it. There's something really weird with Biden. Trump was involved. I don't know. I can't say anything. Nobody lets us get the information we need to point out who the actual predators are. And when it does come out, if it's anybody we like, we call the victims liars. If it's somebody we don't like, it could be a lie, and we get them fucking destroyed. There's no way for us to really prove this shit, because now, if somebody doesn't like you, they can just run up online, say that you raped them, say that you raped a child, no evidence to back it up, no charges filed, and people are still gonna mob your shit and destroy you. That's the way this shit works now. As great as this whole internet and social media thing is, as far as innovation and technologies, it's really one of the worst fucking things that could have ever happened to America, because it divided us so much that we can't even look at each other without finding some reason to have to hate each other because of some stance we take on this, that, or the other. We've got two major issues going on right now, and it's hard for me as a human being to figure out which one to stand up more against right now. Because yes, I believe that the child sex trafficking has to stop, and we should definitely be investing a lot of time and energy into this sector. But I also believe that right now, this very day, with the fact that we've got a weird creeper motherfucker running for president, we've got somebody that's been accused of being, overly flirtatious with women, running for a second term. We've got celebrities everywhere being accused of this shit. Do you see where I'm coming? We've got all this shit going on, and we're rioting in the streets right now, to the point where innocent lives of people are being destroyed. And who knows if one of these days y'all are going to burn down a fucking building that just so happens to have a bunch of victims of sex trafficking in it, because y'all don't know. We don't know where these kids are. We don't know shit. So before we burn down our communities at random, maybe we should try and figure some of this stuff out, who knows when we're going to accidentally cross that line, because no one knows who the actual predators are. We don't have a system for that. How do you form a system for that? I want these people to get taken down, because anybody that rapes kids deserves to fucking go. But the problem is, you have no way to figure out who these people are until they do it and they get caught. The people with money don't get caught. And when they do finally get caught, they have enough money to get off. They have enough money to get away. They have enough fame and celebrity and your adoration to walk away from it. So which one can we truly fight right now? Do you feel what I'm saying? I'm not saying that I don't care about this whole Save the Children movement. I really do, but changing my profile pic isn't going to do a goddamn thing. All I can do is keep spreading information the way I do. And I've mentioned that quite a lot over the past few months as well. In every video, you hear me talk about the kids that are stuck down the ice camps that are disappearing. You've heard me talk about this shit. But yes, I am going to take more of a stance on the violent leftists running throughout the country, because right now, as a singular person, I cannot go find every fucking pedophile in my own town and see if they have kids hidden in their basement. But what I can do, if the violent insurrections come to my town, is stand up for myself, my family, and my community. Do you understand what I'm saying? Right now, there's lines being drawn in the sand, and yes, there are two very, very big movements that are both mobbing around right now that need to have massive attention drawn to them. This whole socialist takeover movement. That's what it is, in my opinion. You can say I'm crazy if you want. I'm judging it based off of the evidence that I've seen and the history I've studied before. Okay? So, we have socialist revolution on one hand. You flip that hand over, we have child sex trafficking. A funny part of these movements that are going hand in hand is a lot of the people who are being martyred in this BLM movement, child predators, rapists, domestic abusers. I mean, these are the people that have been in the news. These are the people that are being defended by the BLM. These are multiple ones now, including some of the ones that kid Kyle killed. Predators. Domestic abusers. Where's feminists? Where's the Save the Children movement there? You know, y'all talk about how if you see a pedophile on the streets, you're going to kill him. But when Kyle did, because that pedophile attacked him, he's the bad guy. Because that pedophile was on the side of Black Lives Matter. Do you see where I have to draw the fucking line in the sand on this shit? You can't be for saving the children and be for a movement that's allowing charged pedophiles. They have no vetting in this movement. You have no idea who's out on the street next to you. A lot of these people probably are violent felons and sex offenders. And the great part is, y'all want to talk about Kyle had that gun illegally. So did the felon that was going to kill him. Shocking. Shocking how it can go both ways, right? Y'all want to be all high and mighty constantly on your soapboxes about we're going to save the children, we're going to do this and that, but y'all can't even find the pedophiles in your local communities and you don't do shit to them. Even if you can find them, all you might do is share Facebook posts about them. So you're not talking all that big shit, you're not really doing it. So, shut your fucking mouths about that. Like, if you're not going to get out there and do something, yes, force the media to cover it. That's what you can do. But instead of getting mad at people that are posting about the violent insurrections that are happening every day and saying that we need to stop focusing on this and go back to saving the children, let me ask you a very, very valid question at this point. What are you going to do if you save all those children and we don't have anywhere left to put them because the entire country is burned down and in the middle of a civil war, which the media is very clearly trying to make a race war? What are you going to do with all these kids that you save when there's nowhere to put them because the entire country is in flames? You can't focus on one without focusing on the other right now, because the other we have to focus on for the security, safety, and protection of every man, woman, and child, illegally or legally in this country. You know what? I said it. Yes, illegally too. There are some people that had to come over here because they had no other fucking options. They didn't have time to wait on paperwork because maybe they were being hunted down by a cartel. Do you understand what I'm saying to you? This shit's real. I'm not making excuses for illegal immigrants. I'm not making excuses for anybody. What I'm saying is this is a multi-layered problem right now. You cannot sit there and get mad at anyone for going after Black Lives Matters and not this child sex trafficking, when even though we have been calling out both of these things, the reality is if you save all the children and there's no police, there's no government, there's nothing left, there are violent insurrectionists running around the streets like this is fucking Mad Max, what are you going to do with all those kids you saved? If there's no police, how do you rescue all the kids? If we had already disbanded the police, do you think the U.S. Marshals would have been able to save all those children? Ha 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 ha, no. But the Democratic Party wants to do this. It's in their paperwork. They talked about it in the DNC. They want to abolish the police and let the communities police themselves. But y'all say y'all care about sex trafficking, but the sex trafficking is going on right now while there are still police in your communities that are trying to stop it, and yet y'all are doing nothing about it. Y'all haven't stopped the local sex traffickers in your area. Where are y'all? Where are all you big talking civilians that are out there saying, well, we're going to stop the pedophiles and we can do it without anyone's help? Well, then why didn't you go with the U.S. Marshals and save all those kids? You're so goddamn knowledgeable. You know where all these kids are. Why aren't you saving them? Again, both of these movements, every situation we're dealing with right now has become fatally intertwined with each other. Y'all need to get this through your head. Y'all are looking at the small game. Y'all are looking at the what's going to happen tomorrow picture. I'm trying to look at what the fuck's going to happen 20 years down the line because my kids will be adults at that point and they may not have a country left. That's what I'm getting at. I want to save all these kids, but how can we do that, again, if there's no police to go in there and take down the violent motherfuckers that are probably armed to the teeth that have these kids? Because if you're sex trafficking, I highly doubt you're going to hold a bunch of kids hostage with no weapons. Okay? So, again, what do you do with these kids if there's no police and there's violent insurrectionists running around the entire country after this election goes through, burning everything to the ground because they're unhappy with who got elected, blah, 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 blah. Civil war happens. What the fuck do you do with all those kids then? How do you save all of them when you're burning down random buildings and you have no fucking clue who may or may not be in those buildings? God damn, logic sucks, doesn't it? It really sucks to sit here and put these pieces together and have to use a logical argument to explain things to people that don't like using logic right now. Y'all want to all think emotionally. You want to think that if I'm saying that the left and BLM is bad, that I'm inherently racist and I don't care about anything other than that when I've been calling out sex trafficking for over 6 fucking years now. It's tiring. It's frustrating and it makes me goddamn mad. It makes me goddamn mad that I have to sit here day in and day out and deal with people that comment on anything I post, and y'all have no fucking clue what you're talking about. You never looked at my other channel y'all never look at any of my channels on YouTube. I have 2 channels, Metal Truthers, which I'm no longer doing because it's just, I started that channel when I started waking up to shit. Well, really, I'd already woken up, but I started that channel to try and have conversations about this shit, and I ran that channel for a good 4 years or so, and now I've got another one, Dismantling the Box. Go check it out. You'll hear all my thoughts on everything on there. I've already posted a couple of videos. It's a new channel. Just got started. Alright? Y'all know where I stand on this shit if you've been paying attention. If y'all actually gave a fuck about reading what I post or actually looking at the context of everything I post and y'all scroll through more. Well, Facebook's got it all fucked up now, though. It's not like it's easy for y'all to see my timeline and look at how I post it. Shit. I've been calling out the sex trafficking and sharing shit about that for a long minute now. My fear is you have a corrupt government system that is still involved in child sex trafficking. CPS is highly involved in this child sex trade. They do not give a fuck about children. Y'all still have this going on and you're talking about defunding the police so that the police cannot go save these children. You're burning down cities, random buildings. Y'all have no fucking clue who's in there. People have died. Families have died in buildings. They found a body in one of the buildings that was burned down. Nobody knew that guy was in there. They just torched shit to torch shit. And let me ask you something. What happens when y'all torch a warehouse or something and y'all find out that there were a bunch of fucking kids locked in a basement or locked in a room somewhere in that building, and you are responsible for killing them because you and your group burned down random buildings with no question of what could be there? Do you understand how this is multi-layered now? Do you understand why I cannot just sit there and say all day long, I'm going to take on just the child sex trafficking, but I don't care that the BLM is going around the country because I'm filled with white guilt or something. Listen. I'm going to say this once, loud and clearly for you. Well, not loud. I don't want to be loud. I don't care about your race. Never have, never fucking will. Do not give a fuck what skin color you are. I grew up in a city that was majority black, period. Memphis, Tennessee, like Chicago, mostly black. I grew up in this shit. I got to see friends of mine not make it through school. I got to see friends of mine get shot over a bag of weed. I got to see friends of mine walk home from the work and get shot for no fucking reason other than the guy wanted some pocket change and didn't want to get a job himself. I grew up in the fucking hood. I've seen death every fucking day of my life, and it wasn't cops killing everybody. It wasn't white supremacists running around killing everybody. You know? You know how many times I've been jumped and all I hear people yelling is, "Get that white boy, fuck that white boy, fuck that cracker, fuck that honky." That's all I fucking heard. And you think I'm not tired of hearing about all this shit at 32 years old? I don't care about skin color. I don't care about your religions. Other than the left religion, this whole fucking socialist movement has become a religion. I do care about that one. That one I highly give a fuck about. What I'm getting at, like I've said numerous times now, we'll keep reiterating that throughout this entire fucking video. You cannot take on child sex trafficking right now inherently by itself when there's a movement going around trying to destroy cities, trying to destroy the fabric of this country, that wants to abolish police. No one's going to be there to save the kids then. Do you understand what I'm saying to you? If you burn down your entire fucking city, you have nowhere to put the kids that you are trying to save. Jesus fucking Christ, it's not that hard to put together, people. And again, what is going to happen when y'all burn down the building that just so happens to have kids in it? What would have happened if the riots had been in that place in Georgia where they found all those kids and they had accidentally burnt down that apartment complex in their mob-fueled rage and burned all of those kids alive? Would y'all say anything then? Or would it be justified because, oh, well, Black Lives Matter doesn't know. They didn't know there were kids in there. Do you understand what I'm saying? It's a fucking slippery slope. And you cannot just ignore one situation entirely and not focus on the reality that the left has complete control of the country right now. Media. Notice, the child sex trafficking shit, barely on the news. Barely on the news, period. Anytime somebody stands up against the BLM, it's all over the news. But if they burned down a building, it was a peaceful protest.
Are we all supposed to share?
Go. Reality is, y'all, most of y'all are afraid that if you go against this movement right now, you'll lose friends and family, you'll be called racist, blah, blah, blah. You could get fired from your job. I get this. I really do. And I am glad to see so many Save the Children posts out there. But the problem is, again, how do you save the children if the country itself is falling apart at the seams and there's no law and order to protect those kids you are saving? How do you rip those kids away from a system like CPS that doesn't care about children, that never has cared about children, that has intentionally, in my opinion, put kids into pedophile homes? If y'all have no government to go after them, what are you going to do? Get off your couch and go do it? I'd like to see it. How come you weren't with those officers in Georgia that saved those kids? If you really cared that much, wouldn't you be out there like Batman hunting them motherfuckers down, finding every pedophile in your city and going to his door to make sure he doesn't have kids? Oh wait, a lot of these motherfuckers haven't been caught to be charged, so you don't know they're pedophiles. Do you see how difficult this situation really becomes? And again, willing to put money on the fact that if you go and at least 9 out of 20 people, and every 20 people that you grab out of these riots is going to have some sort of federal conviction for abuse, for sexual assault, something along those lines. Most of them are probably going to be felons. This is me taking a guess. This is my opinion, but I've seen enough now out of the people that are showing up on the mainstream media that are being martyred for this movement. Most of them are fucking violent federal offenders. A lot of the ones that are dying are sexual predators. No one's happy about it though, because they support BLM. Do you see how this is all intertwined now? Do you see how the media is complacent in child sex trafficking and everything else as well? Do you see how the media is complacent in watching America burn? Just saying. Y'all want to act like we don't care about anything other than this one movement. But it's bigger than just the Black Lives Matters, and that's what I've been trying to get through y'all's goddamn heads. This is all tied in together. All tied in together. Everyone's involved. And if you don't stand up now and stop the insurrection, you won't have anywhere to put the kids you're trying to save. Because I guarantee you don't have a house big enough to host 39 children. You probably don't have enough to feed 39 children every day, correct? You don't have the resources to do this. Take it in there, go. Y'all don't have the resources to do this, right? Well, then you need to stop a movement that's trying to remove the resources that are getting this done. Because it wasn't civilians that saved those kids. Just want to point that out. Again, I'm all for saving the children. That's one of my biggest priorities, has been for 6 years, people. Go look at my channels. We talk about a lot of shit. A lot of it, almost always, came back to child sex trafficking and pedophiles. We've been talking about this. Been talking about it. None of y'all cared 6 years ago. None of y'all had a post on your Facebook 6 years ago. Here we are today. And because I'm taking a stand against two things that just so happen in my viewpoint to be very intertwined. People want to say I don't care about one, and I'm just helping the other side, that they're already won because we're mad about it. When people are dying in the streets, when people lose their businesses, oh, they've got insurance. That's not how insurance works. Never. Unless you're a multi-billion-dollar corporation that's in the pockets of some of these pedophiles, you don't get helped out. You don't get a bailout. Your insurance don't cover shit. Their lives are gone thanks to the people in the streets. I forgot which town it was. It may have been Chicago, it may have been Minneapolis. There was a building burned down, and when the fire was finally done, they found a body in it. Nobody cared, nobody knew, media didn't mention it. What happens when y'all burn down one of these warehouses or these buildings, and it turns out that that was one of the sex trafficking, like, safe houses or whatever you want to call it? What happens when y'all kill a bunch of people that y'all were claiming that y'all cared about to save because you were so goddamn mad at the system that you were attacking everybody and anybody that has nothing to do with the system? Again, it's simple, right? It's not hard to figure this shit out, people. So, that's all I gotta say on it. This is almost 30 minutes now. I'm having to sit here and explain a stance that I've been taking for 6 fucking years now. 6 goddamn years I've been talking about this shit. Day in and day out, being called crazy, being called this, that, and the other, being told that I'm a fucking all kinds of shit. All because I said that there are a lot of celebrities, politicians, everybody else involved in this child sex trafficking, and nobody wants to hear about it. And now look at where y'all are. Now look at where we are. It's kind of funny, ain't it? Maybe y'all weren't doing your due diligence. Anyway, what can we do? You want to save the children? Save your cities first, because if they're gone, you ain't going to be able to help the children. Just saying. Peace.